All right, guys, so it is now the next day, and after I slept on it, I came back out and I looked back in the toolbox again, and at first glance it was this one, 15/16, which is, I guess, chrome, which I didn't realize it at the time, but it's also a 12 point, and that broke right away. But then I looked right behind it, and then there was two more. I was like, wait a second, because I need a deep well 6 point 15/16. Well, there was one, and after a lot of muscle, I got it broken loose, guys. So now I'm just gonna need like a puller or something, and then pull the crank pulley off, and then I can pull the timing cover off. I could probably pull the heads off now, but I mean, I'll do some digging around to see if I can find a puller. I don't even know what like it's supposed to look like, so I'm gonna do a quick Google of that, because I'm sure my dad has one somewhere in the toolbox. And then this cover needs to come off also, and then once the covers and the top is all off, then I should be able to carefully flip it over and start taking stuff out the bottom, and then undo the rod caps and stuff, and then flip it back over and pull the pistons out the top. And then yeah, so we gotta get started with getting the pulley off now. All right, guys, so back with the motor, and now that I got the bolt out, and I was talking about the crankshaft pulley puller, which this is also known as the harmonic balancer, and you can see the little drilled marks. That's to balance it. My dad said that we don't have one. He has the one for the older style, which had 3 bolts in the holes. So this one's different, I guess. So unfortunately, I probably won't be able to get it off, but for now, I should be able to pull the heads off. And then I can bring these to work and get them all cleaned up, and then maybe start porting them. I gotta do a little bit more research on that, but I definitely want to port these heads just a little bit. Nothing too crazy, because it's still gonna be a daily driver, and I still want good low end torque. So mainly just the exhaust side. I don't even know if I'm gonna touch the intake much. And then I can take the Vlam cover off, and then maybe the cover on the back right over here. I'm not exactly sure what this is all about, but I'm gonna be taking that off anyways. But I didn't wait until it's upside down. But then I want to take the oil pan off, and then just get everything out, get it all drained and all that, make sure all the oil's out, all the coolant's out, and then yeah, just do as much as I can, even though I can't get the harmonic balancer off of it and the timing cover. I'll have to see if I can't get one tomorrow, which I should be able to, because tomorrow will be Monday, and I'll see what I can do at work. I'm sure I'll come up with something to be able to pull it off, and then we can keep on working at it tomorrow. But for now, I'm just gonna get done what I can, and then I want to roll the chassis, or the frame out, and then I want to move the cab to right here where I'm standing actually, and then I want to roll the frame back in and lift it up, and then continue stripping this all down. So I want to get this like pretty stripped tonight. So I just have to see how far I can get, but I got a good 10 hours, so we'll see what I can get done, but let's keep tearing this down. All right, guys, so I got all the bolts loose, and as you can see, coolant is dripping out of the head. So now it's time to just pull them off. I'm gonna pull all the bolts first. Now I'm getting new head bolts. Actually, I might already have them from my cam kit. So whenever you take your head off, it's recommended to put new bolts in it, because they stretch, they say. So I won't be reusing those. Make sure that the motor doesn't tip over. There she goes. All right, now to pull this one. And there you have it. So it looks like on this side, the one alignment now actually stuck in the head, which is no big deal. But you can definitely see how this thing was definitely racking up the miles. I mean, I think it only had like 187,000 on it, which isn't too bad, but it's definitely getting a little tired. Especially being lifted for who knows how long. And you know, having bigger tires, and probably was never programmed for the big tires. So now I just gotta undo these little bucket covers for the lifters and get the lifters pulled out. Oh, and also really quick, just a little background for you guys. The reason why I'm going through with all this, like, you guys might be like, you know, like, why are you doing this? Like, you know, you definitely don't need to do this. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. Well, you guys probably know from the Predator how I like to do things, and like the things I like to build and stuff like that. But, you know, I figured if I'm putting a camshaft in this thing anyways, you know, I might as well freshen up the whole motor so that I don't have any problems later on. And I've always wanted to like go this far with a build. Like, if you guys haven't seen other videos, I talk about my maroon truck and the two-wheel drive, how I wanted to combine those and basically go through all this with those. Well, then I ended up just buying this one, so I have all three. And, you know, I don't know, I just wanted to build a show truck. And, you know, this motor definitely needed to be freshened up anyways. I mean, there was nothing wrong with it, and I don't know how much oil it burned or anything, but you can just see the buildup. I mean, yeah, this probably isn't too bad compared to some, but considering that the transmission was neglected for how long, like, guys, the fluid that has leaked out of this looks like engine oil. And I already flushed this once after I got it, so like 1,500 miles ago, and it was still just brown. So I figured with all the neglect from the transmission, they probably hardly changed their oil on time. And since I'm putting a camshaft in it anyways, which I'd be this far anyways, I might as well just do all new bearings, you know, give her a little bit of pep to her step, and give her a little more performance, and just clean it all up so that it's a nice, reliable unit. Considering that the whole chassis and everything else is gonna be like new anyways, so why skip out on this? So that's why. So I'm gonna keep on working at it now. All right, guys, so back with the motor here, and guys, I was actually wrong. My dad came out here and looked at it and said, wow, this all looks really nice. Like, you don't need to change this at all. And then so I was like, oh, all right, well, let's just reveal what's underneath the valley cover, and just look at how clean that is. So I was very surprised, but he said that I shouldn't do anything to the bottom end. So that's definitely gonna save me a lot of money, which I'm happy about. So now from what I thought would be, you know, really expensive, turns into, instead of having to do all that, that'll pay for the transmission. So that cancels out. And then I'll just have to get the heads all redone for the cam. And then get the cam put in it. And then all new gaskets and stuff. So that's actually really good. And yeah, he was just saying how this motor might have actually been replaced before just because of how clean it is, like especially this one. So I mean, that's good to hear. So I'm glad that the motor was super clean and the transmission was neglected the whole time. But I mean, that's just gonna have a new top end and a nice little rumble to it with the cam, and I'll be good to go. So I still gotta take the harmonic balancer off, the timing cover off, take the timing chain off, you know, get the cam out, get the lifters out, and then take the oil pan off because I for sure need a new gasket for that. And then this thing will be rebuilt besides the bottom end, but you know, still have a new top end. And then shouldn't leak anymore because it's going to be all new gaskets. And then transmission's going to be all rebuilt. And then transfer case should be fine, hopefully. I didn't check the fluid in the transfer case at all, but I mean that's not too bad to replace. So I guess I'm just gonna throw a towel over this and set it aside, so no dirt gets in it, and come back to that later. But that's, you know, I can always get back to that. It's the heads that are gonna take a while now because these have to go to a machine shop and get the new valves and all that, because the valve springs have to get set for the cam, so you need all the cam specs, and you know, I know nothing about that, so just gonna have a shop do that, and that way he can, you know, hopefully they don't need to be decked because the rest of it looks really nice. So yeah, that's great news. So now I guess it's time to move on to the chassis here.